Yo, this is Matt and Konrad from Diamond Plate.
You're listening to the Age of Metal.
Hello everyone, this is Miguel with the Age of Metal, and I'm here with
Konrad.
And Matt of Diamond Plate, directly from Chicago, Illinois. Here at today in Asylum Records. The guys are visiting Tempe, I believe, the first time?
First time in Tempe, correct. Yep.
You guys been in Arizona and Flagstaff at the beginning of this tour, right?
At the beginning of this tour, we've done Flagstaff, and I think we've done another show in Arizona with Warbringer about 2 years ago. But yeah, first time in Tempe. So.
Gotcha. I understand that the Flagstaff show was kind of like impressive for you guys. How was that? I mean, on pretty much how's been this tour from you guys?
It's been incredible every night. But Flagstaff was definitely, I think, one of the first. It was maybe like the fourth show overall on the tour, but it was the first show for us that we really felt a lot of energy from the crowd, and just really kind of arrived, I guess. You know, it felt good. It felt really good.
What do you think is that?
We're getting more comfortable, I guess. You know, getting on stage. This is really our first tour with this lineup, and this and that. So
Matt's first time on the road ever.
Okay.
And I don't know, Flagstaff just had a lot of energy. You can't really explain that. It's just the people there were very good to us. So we appreciate that.
Well, that's great to hear from you guys that are opening for this kind of like big tour. You have Battle Cross, you have Revocation, you have 3 Inches of Blood, and of course you have Dead Angel. And Diamond Plate is not a band that is... you guys been playing with big bands before. You tour with Overkill in Europe, and you play shows with Anthrax and Exodus, even with Behemoth before.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What have you learned from these bands while on tour? I mean, while touring with them? Any anecdotes that you have to kind of like remember that you learned from them?
Yeah, I think just from a musical standpoint, just seeing these bands every night, you know, deliver an amazing show is just really inspiring. Especially these bands that have been around for, you know, some for like Death Angel as much as like 20-something years, and they still just get better and better every night, it seems. And then on this tour in particular too, like the Death Angel guys are just like the nicest people ever, super down to earth. So it's the biggest lesson that we've gotten from them is no matter how big you get and no matter how long you've been doing it, you always remain humble and you always remain a good person, and that's what's going to carry you far. And Death Angel are definitely the top of their game, so it's inspiring.
Definitely, no band that belongs to the Bay Area thrash metal original came up movement back in the 80s. Now going back to Diamond Plate, Pules was released in last August. How has been the response of the people towards the album so far?
towards the album, it's been pretty good. The best response has been in the live show, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've gotten a lot of people that it's a different animal live, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so overall, pretty positive, I'd say, for the most part.
People have been connecting with this record a lot more than any of the stuff in our past. And yeah, there's people that hate on it and say that, because we use clean singing and more melodic stuff, and it's more inspired by classic rock and roll bands like Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and all that. People don't get that, but what they have to understand is we make music that we love to make, and we don't, we appreciate the fans that do like the record, and to everyone else that wants us just to be a thrash band, we make music for ourselves first and foremost. So
gotcha. So far, during the recording of Pules, what was the most challenging thing at the time to create the album?
The most challenging.
Rhythm guitar. Rhythm guitar.
Why?
Yeah. Oh, because it's. Oh, you can ask him.
I was there.
Really?
Well, the thing about Pulse that we approached differently is we didn't use a click track for recording. We didn't quantize the drums, so the drum tracks that I was recording to were drums that go like this as far as tempo. They're very real, very natural, and to match that and to find the pocket for that was pretty difficult, you know, because you're not playing to a perfect computerized drummer. You're playing to a living, breathing thing, so it's hard to get the perfect take, and then it's even harder to get 4 more perfect takes after that with doubling and all that. So for me, that was the hardest part.
That was the hardest part. What about Matt?
Hardest part for me, definitely be like the singing, the cleaner vocals and stuff. I was like, don't get me wrong, I was nervous as hell coming into it. My first record, really. Yeah. So, but everyone was there with me. You know what I mean? Pushing me, helping me out. Like, it was a good thing. But
how was the feeling to go in directly with a band that has been around 10 years, almost next year, directly into your first record just all of a sudden? How was that experience for you?
surreal. Surreal. One day I'm working back home, I'm doing my thing, and the next I get a phone call from Chicago, and that's it, and that changed my life forever. Like, not to sound cliche, but yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and now I'm here, and I'm never looking back. Like, this is all I could ever want out of life.
So, do you move to Chicago at the end?
I'm currently staying with Konrad right now.
He lives in my basement.
Alright, so...
We make it work.
Yeah, good people.
Well, definitely Matt is the newest member of Diamond Plate, and how has been the experience for you besides the first tour nationwide, the first record? Besides being surreal, how has been that to getting in a band that is already established per se?
It's a very different environment. I used to play in local bands in Miami all the time, mostly like jazz and blues and just clubs and that type of thing. And it's definitely a transition. You know what I mean? Like in a lot of ways. I love how everyone's very professional and but not like overbearing. Everyone's just they know what they have to do, and they know what to expect from everybody else. Very natural, very human.
Well, last week, going back to the record to Pules, was revealed teaser of the video clip for Dance with Reality.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the concept behind the video and when this video will be released?
Video should be out, hopefully in a week or two. And we wanted to just make a crazy video that really showed the live energy of the band, and also present a storyline that's a little bit more cinematic. The big word that we were going for is cinematic. Make it kind of like a little movie, and I think we were really able to do that. We worked with a guy named Lester Cohn back in Chicago, who's worked with Mastodon and Chevelle and a lot of pretty big bands, and he heard the song, he heard the band, kind of fell in love with us, and that's why he agreed to work with us, and we're very, very grateful for that. Because normally he wouldn't really work with smaller bands like us, but he heard something in the music and helped us kind of create a little trippy video to go along with the song.
Definitely, for the teaser it looks kind of like an action-packed video.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, okay. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, Diamond Plate's been around for almost 10 years, and pretty much you guys started since you guys were in high school. Well, Matt just joined recently. What would you say has been the key to keep up playing music and trying to make it in the music business all this time? Because you see some bands that they make it in less than 2 years, some of them just in less than a year nowadays. But 10 years is kind of a long time to come up with a second record so far and being signed on a couple of record labels that are really established. So what is the key to keep up on that?
Well, the band has been around for 10 years, but myself and Jim, we're both 21 and 22 now. Like we started the band when we were 11, so it wasn't an official start where, you know, as an 11-year-old kid, you form a band and all of a sudden you're already thinking about how to market yourself and promote it. It started because when we were 11, 12, we met and we played our first Metallica song together. You know what I mean? So it's not like a official 10-year kind of thing. We didn't like really start picking up steam until we were like later on in high school. We got signed by Earache about 2 months after we graduated, and that's when, you know, we started making our first record and all that. But to go back to your question, for us it's always as long as it's about the music. Like again, not to sound cliche, but if it's about the music, that's the only thing that really matters. Because whatever the business side throws at you, you know, whatever happens, if you're in it for the music, you're gonna love doing it no matter what. And the music just kind of keeps us going. So.
Gotcha. And for Matt, how long you been playing bass and singing, and how you connect actually to ended up on Damon Plate?
I've been playing since like I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, all through high school and after that. So a while now. I don't know how many years that is, but a while now. And back in the day, Diamond Plate used to have a touring guitar player for the live shows, and he went to high school with me. We're both from Miami, and so he introduced us. And then when the time came, it all just kind of fell together, just lined up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We drove down from Chicago to Florida, just really not knowing anything about Matt. we kind of
totally
felt
blind.
Yeah, no, completely. It was just we were crazy, and we felt that there was something there, and sure enough, as soon as we got into we rented like a little shitty rehearsal space, got in the same room together, and it was like, magic, or whatever you want to call it. But we all felt it. We all had a really good time, and we knew right away, Matt was the one, and there we are.
All right. With that being said, what is your advice to new bands that are starting like you guys? Bands that are on their local scene, depends of whatever it is, nationwide, opening for big national bands, opening for international bands in the club circle, trying to get their music and their word out there. What's your advice for them to keep going?
Again, it kind of goes back to how I answered your other question, where just focus on the music. Do what you love and love what you do, and no matter what happens, you're always gonna end up happy. You know what I mean? Our goal isn't to make a lot of money and get the chicks and be in this huge band. Our goal is to be able to express ourselves, be free, and make music that we love. And if we're broke, then that's fine, because at least we're happy and we're here with Miguel and Age of Metal, having a good time, and that to us is what matters. So for young bands, just do what you love, and everything else will take care of itself.
Do it for the music, definitely for the music. 10 years ago, the scene in many levels was different. We didn't have streaming services. We didn't have digital downloaded. The digital downloaded was barely started. We had a really increasing problem with the illegal download. You still have it today, but 10 years ago was like the peak of the whole thing. In which way all these things has changed and shaped the music business, and how that have effect on your career?
Right, tremendous. I mean, music isn't listened to the way it was listened to when I was growing up as a kid. My dad had a huge record collection, a huge CD collection, and that's how I would discover music, is just, not even knowing how to put it on, but you just look at the record, look at the album cover, it's like, oh wow, this is, Black Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, wow, look at this, or, Thin Lizzy, seeing Phil Lynott on there, and it's just like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then you would put the record down, you have to sit and you have to listen to the whole thing, and now it's just, you click and it's there, and kids don't get that same kind of thing anymore, which is unfortunate. and it makes it harder for us as musicians, you know, creating an album for it to be listened to from front to back, which is what we always intended. You know, with Pulse, we wanted to be listened to from the first song to the very last song for people to really get the sound and really get what the band is about. Because if they listen to one song off Pulse, they're not going to understand it. They're just going to be like, oh, you know, well, I thought this was a thrash band. Well, it's like, no, dude, listen to the whole album and check it out like that. So it's made it harder for bands, especially metal bands, to actually put a lot of time into records as opposed to singles, to actually have their vision get out there like we've intended. Yeah. So again, I don't really like to talk about like the business and like the money side. It's just we focus on like the art side of like, okay, well, this is how it's affected literally people listening to the record. Money, yeah, I mean, people don't buy CDs as much, they don't buy records as much, but they come out to shows and they have a good time, and I guess that's a plus too. I guess the live show has become more important today than ever before. I don't know. Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
More bands focus on merchandise and trying to do VIP meetings and stuff like that you know, to cover what they probably will lose on the CD sales. Now, Demon Plate is a band that, if I'm not wrong, you guys are in same train, same school of the new wave of American thrash metal. Generally, the new wave of thrash metal with bands like Municipal Waste, Warbringer, Toxic Holocaust, Forearm from Australia, bands like Lost Society from Finland. How those bands, or how this new influence have influence on you guys? How that reflect on the way to make music?
Really hasn't, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, we know of those bands, but we don't really like. We're friends with like Warbringer and Havoc, and we just met Tony from Municipal Waste a few weeks ago. He was a cool dude. But I mean, we listen to the old school stuff, like, and even further than even just like thrash metal. Like I said, we grew up on Sabbath, Zeppelin, Budgie, Thin Lizzy. And we just kind of listen to that and try and make it heavier, and that's why it kind of comes out like thrash metal. But yeah, we never really fit in to that new wave. Yeah, like we're like too different to fit into that, but then we're like old school to where people like still put us in with that. So we're just like the outsiders. Like we never really fit in there, never really will. And we're cool with that, you know. Definitely. That makes us happy. It's a little annoying sometimes because, you know, people expect us to fit in with Warbringer or whatever, but, you know, we have a lot of different influences that I think kind of set us apart from them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, this tour almost have a couple of days left, and then it's over. What is next for Diamond Plate after finishing this tour with Dead Angel?
Yeah, well, just touring, you know, like I think it was Lemmy that said a band's not a real band unless they tour, you know what I mean? And we're firm believers in that, so we just want to stay on the road no matter what, and just bring people a good time.
Definitely. Well, Matt and Konrad, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us here at the HML. Looking forward to see you guys. The debut in Tempe. You guys been in Arizona before, but definitely looking forward to see you guys on stage tonight. And great congratulations on a good album. What is Pulse? And definitely looking forward to what is next with Diamond Plate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man.
Cheers, man.
Awesome.